How's it going, YouTube? Rubbish here, bringing you guys another rulings-ish video. It's been a while, I know. We finally got caught up with life. We can get some videos out, and I think I wanted to get this one out just before pre-releases start. I know a lot of you people in the EU and a few other places have already gotten the cards for BT10, but for those of you in the US, we are just getting pre-released today as of, it'll be tomorrow as of the day of the recording, but today on the 14th of October. And I wanted to go over DigiXros for you guys. DigiXros, save, material save. Material save and save are pretty straightforward, but there's a few in and outs of DigiXros that a lot of people have asked me about at locals and online, so I feel like I wanted to make a proper video to go over that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the meat and potatoes of the video. All right, everyone, so into the main part of the video here, we're gonna go over the main keywords before DigiXros that are important to know, and then we're gonna go over DigiXros itself. The first one is going to be save. All these Digimon that we have on screen currently, Shoutmon, Ballistamon, Darulamon, and Starmons are all going to have the ability save, on deletion save. Pretty straightforward effect. Save, you may place this card underneath one of your Tamers. So if you swing in with, say, this Shoutmon, hit a security check, it does die, you go ahead and you can add it underneath one of your Tamers. You can do that underneath all of these. You do not send the sources as well. So if you had this Pikmon's underneath and then you die with the Shoutmon, Pikmon will of course go to trash because it is an on deletion effect. It doesn't like interrupt and then send the whole thing. It just sends the one Digimon. The other effect here that we're gonna go over is going to be material save. Material save is another one of those effects that isn't super complicated, but it is one of those effects that we do need to go over. Let me pull up the wording here so I can get a good one. We're gonna show off Shoutmon Cross 4. This is gonna be one of your key DigiXros Digimon. But we have material save. His is material save 2. When this Digimon is deleted, you may place 2 of its Digimon's DigiXros conditions from this Digimon's Digivolution cards underneath one of your Tamers. So let's say he had multiple of these Digimon under his in his sources, and all of these are part of his DigiXros requirements. So whenever you swing in and say he dies to a security check, you can choose 2 of these and you have to place them underneath, or you can place them underneath a Tamer. Important thing to note, you have to place them underneath the same Tamer. So if you have a stack like this, where you have them all stacked, we'll go over this here in a second when we go over DigiXros in and of itself, like this, you swing in, you hit something that kills it in security, you choose any of these, doesn't matter, but they both have to go underneath the same Tamer. So if you choose Shoutmon or Ballistamon, they both have to go underneath Taiki in this situation. They cannot go underneath, one can't go underneath Taiki, and let's say you have like a BT1 tie, you can't put the other one underneath the BT1 tie. They both have to go underneath the same Tamer. All right, so with that in mind, with Shoutmon already on the field cross 4, we're going to go ahead and get into the part that most people need to know about that has a few different things to go over. It's going to be DigiXros. So what does DigiXros say? Well, we're going to go over the basic one. We'll do a DigiXros 2 for Shoutmon Cross 4. DigiXros -2, it's going to say Shoutmon, Ballistamon, Darulamon, and Starmons. The X in between, but it's going to be in that specific order. When you would play this card from your hand, you may place specified cards from your hand and or battle area, or / battle area under it. Each place card reduces the play cost by the DigiXros number. So in this case it's DigiXros -2, so it would reduce the play cost by 2 for each source added. So you have 4 of them, so you'd go ahead and you'd be able to reduce the play cost from 9 down to 1. And it's important to note a small thing, DigiXros isn't a regular triggered effect. You can kind of see that in the fact that it's under a green box on the card. I'll have the card up on screen, of course, so you can see it in a better image, but it's a little green box. This basically shows that it's not treated like a regular effect. It is kind of a game rule as they go about it. So there's a few interactions where if, say, you would reduce the play cost when you are going to do this with some other effect, that would have to go first, and then the game mechanic would kick in. To DigiXros, that's when you would place it, and then it would reduce it further. So if you're able to reduce this by 1 via some effect, and then place all 4 of these underneath it, then it would be reduced by another 8, and then be free. But you would do the reduction first. All right, so the other thing to note too is the order that DigiXros is in. So in this case on Shoutmon Cross 4, Shoutmon, Ballistamon, Darulamon, and Starmons in that specific order. that is the order that you have to place them underneath the Digimon. This is kind of similar to how we did DNA Digivolve when that first came out. It's specific in the order that you have to place them. It'll say for like Pyoldramon, you'd have to have the green card or the blue card on top of the green card. You had to stack it in that order. It's a similar situation here where for Shoutmon Cross 4, you have to make sure they're stacked in this way with Starmons on bottom, Darulamon, Ballistamon, Shoutmon on top, and then you would play this. They would all go underneath, but they would have to be specifically in this order. Another thing you'll note here, it's kind of the reason why I left Pikmons on the field. So let's say you had all of these in your hand. You had Darulamon, Starmons, and Ballistamon in your hand. You had a Shoutmon on the field. If you wanted to go ahead and play the Shoutmon Cross 4 and you add all these, it isn't stated anywhere, but this source does not go. It's some of the reminder text that they removed, so the Pikmons would not stay and get like tucked underneath with the Shoutmon and then be Darulamon or Ballistamon, Darulamon, Starmons. The Pikmons will just go to the trash, and then you will stack them in the proper order, like so. Another question that I have is, do you have to do all of them? Do you have to, if you have all of them, do you have to do all of them? You do not. You can choose how many you want to add. Let's say you have like a Ballistamon in hand, you don't feel like playing the Ballistamon or using the Ballistamon because you want to save it for another possible effect, such as like playing one of your Zenjiros or something like that, then you can choose not to add it. It's up to you on how many you choose. Just know that it will be reduced. Sometimes maybe you don't want to add all of them because you want to memory choke your opponent to like 1 or something like that, and it would be more effective for you to not add it so that you can pay 3 memory instead of 1 memory. Stuff like that. You can choose just not to add this, keep it in your hand, keep it on the field, whatever you choose. Go ahead, digicross, declare the 3. It's important to note that you will still have to place them in the order. If you skip over this, then that's fine. You'll just go as if it wasn't there in the digicross requirements. And another thing, we're just going to go ahead and knock out a few things all at once. Let's say you have all of these in your hand, on your field, whatever you want to go about it, and you use an effect. This is in the trash. Well, we'll go trash over here. Your Shoutmon Cross 4 is in the trash. You play out Shoutmon Cross 4 via an effect. So it's played out via an effect, and it's for free, so you're not actually having to pay any memory. You can still digicross. That's part of it being part of the effect game mechanic wise. You can digicross even if you do not have even if you aren't paying anything. You can digicross at any point like that. If it's free, if it's coming out, if it's at an increased play cost, anything like that, you can digicross at any of those times. We're going to go ahead and stack it like True Champion Steven just so I don't have to make a super tall stack every single time. And that pretty much covers it for just like generic on how to digicross, where you come from, if it comes from your hand, if it comes from the trash, whichever. If it comes, I mean, there's no effect that would play it out from security. I guess there is if you have something like a Mastamon, some little spicy plays. But stuff like that, if it's played out via security, played out via an effect where it's played for free, you can go ahead and you can still digicross. The last thing to go over is about whenever you have them underneath a Tamer. You have all your sources. Again, ease of access. When you have all your sources underneath a Tamer, such as Taiki, it does say that you, in the effect of digicross, that you have to play it out from your hand or use Digimon on your battle area. But if you have a Tamer such as Taiki, where you can play it out from underneath him, he has an effect basically when you would play a Digimon with digicross requirements. It being a wood part also helps with the fact that it's interruptive, so it doesn't like trigger afterwards, and this is part of the reason why it's worded that way. When you would play a Digimon with digicross, again, hand or field, I think it does not specify hand, it does not. You can go ahead, suspend Taiki, and use any of your Tamer, any of your sources underneath your Tamers for the effect. Now, Taiki doesn't just specify himself. If you have like 4 different Tamers, all of them have sources underneath, you can go ahead and place them all underneath using its effect. So that's another thing. It interrupts and it lets you play it from that. And again, it basically is like a third choice. Hand, battlefield, underneath your Tamers, stuff like that. But with all that being said, I know it's not a super long video, I know it's not really crazy, but that pretty much covers anything on digicross. Just know that if something else pops up, like here we have Cross 5 and it has an extra source, same thing, you can reduce it down to 0 and you just put the Starmons or the Sparrowmon on bottom. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. There's all sorts of different interactions. We'll have different digicross Digimon to go over for some rulings and stuff like that in the BT10 rulings video, which I am working on. So you do not have to worry about that. I'll try to have it out before the official release. I know there's a few events coming up, so people are trying to make sure they know all their rulings and stuff like that. And there's a few complex ones, so we're going to try to get that out as soon as I can. Have a little bit more free time, but we'll try to get it out so you guys can brush up on your BT10 rulings. Whole bunch of new mechanics, whole bunch of new cards, a lot of stuff to go over. But with all that being said, thank you guys again for watching the video. Thank you for coming back to the video after such a long time. The continued support on the channel is very much appreciated. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. We have more ruling videos. I'm going to try to get some more gameplay and stuff like that in the future now that I have a little bit more free time, and we have a new set coming out, so we're not worried about the same old formats and matches that we were seeing over and over again. So we'll try to have some gameplay and stuff like that. And then be sure to hit the notification bell if you want to know when my videos go live, and leave any comments down below. Maybe something that I didn't think about, maybe something that you guys thought about, a little question. If it has something to do with a specific ruling not related just to the mechanic of digicross, try to save it until BT10. If it's something like you have an event coming up, yeah, you can leave it down below. But the BT10 ruling video will be out, so you can just fill me up with all the comments there, because I love answering your guys' comments, and it's one of my favorite things to do on the videos is be able to answer the comments and get more rulings and stuff that you guys ask for, and it's one of the best parts about the channel. So, but again, with all that being said, I've rambled on long enough. Thank you guys for the continued support watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later.